The Harappans, also known as the Brahmaputra Valley Civilization, was one of humankind's oldest settled civilizations. Their origins can be traced back to the 8th millennium BCE and the ancient city of Harappa. Situated on the banks of the river Brahmaputra, nestled between the Himalayas to the north and the clouded uplands to the south, the area provided ideal conditions for early agriculture and husbandry. Starting with the 6th millennium BCE, items associated with Harappan cultures, like early wheel-made pottery and clay-inscribed calendars, can be found along the lower and middle stretches of the river Ganges. This appearance of Harappan items coincides with the vanishing of artifacts of earlier cultures, which are usually linked to Proto-Babylonian populations. This led some scholars, see for example Bandang and Campbell 2017, to suggest that these earlier groups were driven off by the expanding Harappan culture. There are, however, no findings that indicate large-scale violence or conflict between Harappans and the emerging Babylonians during the following centuries, letting this early period of Indian history appear overall peacefully. Noradrenaline in Essays on the History of the Indian Subcontinent. Hey everybody, it's PartyElite. Welcome you back to our Humankind Forging India miniseries. I am really excited to see how this playthrough plays out, because we've been gifted with a very interesting start. Yes, we managed to push the Babylonians back, and that's certainly going to work in our favor, and that's all well and good, but to have the Hittites right up over here, and the Assyrians right up over here, and the Mycenaeans, or Mycenaeans, I guess, right up over here, those are all causes for concern. I mean, again, these guys might seem like they're far enough away, but it's only a handful of territories, and I guess, if I'm lucky, the Himalayas will sort of, do their job. They'll act as rough terrain and make it very difficult for them to expand down this way and cause us any trouble. And if I'm really lucky, the Hittites will act as a bit of a buffer nation as well. However, the Hittites are more likely to act as an enemy before they are, going to be acting as any sort of help at all, I think, especially as a buffer nation. So I'm a little concerned about the Hittites, especially because we've sort of decided to play the Harappans, so just this era, not the entire playthrough, but just this era, as a pacifist people. And that's just a reflection of what we think we know of the Harappans. Again, we don't know for sure, but there's reason to believe that the Harappan people historically were relatively pacifist, and so we're trying to play that up. Now, at the beginning, yes, we were a little aggressive against the Babylonians, pushing them back from central India, but that was a misstep. And we've since course corrected, and now, yes, we're moving forward as pacifists again just for this era. And that makes me nervous for a couple of reasons. Now, just to be clear, just because we're pacifists doesn't mean we won't defend ourselves. So we are still, yes, recruiting units and researching technologies for units, because being a pacifist is different from being a pushover, obviously. But it does still make me nervous because, we might get boxed in, and then we won't have the option to expand too aggressively until future eras. And not just might we get boxed in, but I genuinely believe that the militarist stars are among the easiest to collect, both for the stars themselves as well as the fame that they put up for gaining, for earning, however you want to phrase it. But we're sort of forgoing that by not being aggressive ourselves. Now, yes, we can sort of bait the enemy into battles by being in their, territory, like claimed territories, and being in and around their sphere of influence and all that. But if you're just attacking yourself, you can, guarantee yourself some militarist stars. You put one city under siege, and you've basically gained yourself a militarist star, more or less, right? It's hyperbole, but more or less. So I'm a little worried about that. We might fall behind as far as the eras are concerned in the ancient era, which means we'll be playing catch-up in the following eras, and I just hope we're able to successfully catch up, because again, it's all about the fame at the end of the day. So I'm a little worried about that. And you can see we are already pretty far behind, but it's too early to call the game, obviously. We are also playing on a slightly harder difficulty, so we'll see how far we can even make it. I wouldn't be surprised if I actually get wiped out before we reach the end of the game in this playthrough, and that'll be fun. I like a good challenge. That'll be fun, especially with this start. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if we get wiped out this session. But I just want to touch on one last thing here before I bore you to death with this introduction, but I feel like this one's a pretty important one. Well, first of all, there were some fantastic comments in the comments of the previous episode. In fact, there's a pinned comment in the previous episode that I highly recommend everybody go check out, because it was just, it's amazing. Beyond that as well, though, it was great to see how many of y'all are excited for this playthrough. Excited for this concept, excited for the just the through line idea and stuff, because I was excited for it, and then seeing you be excited for it makes me even more excited for it. So it's this excellent feedback loop. So thank you very much for letting me know how you feel about it, and it's great to see by and large most, if not all of you, were on board and excited. Now there was one suggestion that I received from quite a few of you actually, and so I just want to address that because it's a very solid suggestion. I'm always open to feedback, but the best way to I think work with feedback is to discuss it, right? We go back and forth. So don't take this to be me saying, no, you're wrong. Just to be clear, I love the feedback I've gotten, and that's why I want to talk about it. Many of you suggested that rather than pick the Mongols when the time comes, we should pick the Khmer. And again, that is a 100% viable like suggestion, and it makes sense because, again, for those of you that don't know, the Khmer people were part of what's known as the Greater India region, and it's called that because of Indian conquest and trade, resulting in this sort of sphere of influence. It's where the Indian subcontinent's culture sort of transferred over to Southeast Asia, and that's why you'll see a lot of similarities in architecture and a lot of, you'll see a lot of Hindu temples in Southeast Asia, for example. But anyway, sorry. So the Khmer people were, I'm having a hard time like choosing between saying are and were, because the Khmer people of today are, of course, connected to the Khmer people of back then, right? But they have a cultural history that very much does, yes, tie in to the Indian subcontinent. So great suggestion, 100%. However, my only reason for going as the Mongols rather than the Khmer people is that my end goal for this playthrough is to forge the Indians of the Indian subcontinent. So that is to say, contemporary era, modern day, today's, let's say, India, are the people that I would like to try and build or forge, make, whatever the right word is. If I were to choose the Khmer, then all of a sudden now we'd be moving forward towards a Southeast Asian people, which we might do for a future playthrough for sure, but for this playthrough I wanted to stick to the Indian subcontinent. Now, the reason why the Mongols get involved is because the Mongols, while they did not directly invade India, like coming straight down from the north, they went over to Persia, had some cultural mingling happening over there, and then invaded India as the Mughals. And the Mughals are a huge influence to the Indian subcontinent's modern culture. You go to, in fact, okay, the best way to put it is the Taj Mahal, one of the most iconic things in India. Like, people are familiar with the Taj Mahal from a very early age. If you're familiar with India, if you have any interest in this kind of stuff, you're familiar with the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal is Mughal, right? It was made by Mughals, and quite a few things that are still standing in present day India are the result of Mughal rule. Similarly, down the line, we said we're going to pick the British before we become contemporary era Indians, right? And again, there's an obvious mark of British culture in the Indian subcontinent as a result of the British Raj and just however many years of British colonialism, and you can see that. In fact, let's take a look at Delhi really quickly. You've got Humayun's tomb, which is a Mughal piece of architecture, and actually, funnily enough, the prototype of the Taj Mahal. So these are both in Delhi. So Humayun's tomb is in Delhi, and Lutien's Delhi is, of course, in Delhi, New Delhi. Lutien's Delhi being where all the political, the seat of government and stuff is. And while Lutien was a French architect, it was built during the British era. So you've got remnants of these cultures still very much in modern day contemporary India as even symbols of modern day contemporary India, and so that's why I wanted to go that route. And I just want to clarify a statement I said a couple of seconds ago. I think I might have made it sound like the Taj Mahal is in New Delhi. It's not. The Taj Mahal is in Agra, which is close-ish to New Delhi, but being a Canadian, distances in any other part of the world shrink. So it might not be as close to New Delhi as I think in my head, as I perceive in my head. But Agra is a different city where the Taj Mahal is. Humayun's tomb and Lutien's Delhi are both in New Delhi. Sorry, I just want to make sure I was clear there before, I get 20 comments being like, Taj Mahal is not in New Delhi. It's like, yes, no, I know, it's in Agra. Anyway, sorry, that intro has gone on for way too long, but I just get so caught up in some of this historical stuff, and it's hard for me to resist. If you want me to, again, stop that kind of stuff, you let me know in the comments, and I will, though I actually got some encouragement in the comments. Maybe some of you are regretting encouraging me in the comments of the previous episode, and if you are, that's cool too. It's always okay to change your mind. You let me know if I should ease up on some of the historical elements of of Humankind and of our playthrough. Because I can very easily get carried away with this kind of stuff, especially when it comes to topics of culture. I can very easily get carried away. Now, actually, on that note, as we start to move up through the Himalayas, I think to make some more claims up over there, and as we get ready to make some more attachments as well, on the topic of cultural history and all that kind of stuff, I'm actually really curious to hear people's thoughts on that aspect of Humankind, of the game, because it's one of my favorite elements of the game. This whole like transitioning cultures through the eras is one of my biggest draws to this game. However, in a lot of the conversation I've seen online, that seems to be a major sort of sticking point for a lot of people, which I find very interesting. And I've seen a lot of the justifications and explanations. By and large, it seems to be a lot of people are having an issue with transitioning from one culture to another culture that never actually interacted in history. That seems to be the biggest sort of issue that people have, and I find that interesting. Of course, I like knowing how people feel about these kinds of things, because it, I think, makes me more well informed about these kinds of conversations. It's good to know how other people feel, and versus how I feel, because my opinion is just one man's opinion. It's good to have a couple people's opinions in the back of my mind, so when I'm addressing things, I know what the general consensus or what the other side feels about certain aspects as well. I'm sort of tempted to go to domestication just so we can get more tech researched faster. I'm just a little worried about falling behind. You know what? I'll take the risk. I'll take the risk. I think we'll manage. The Himalayas are really devoid of resources, aren't they? It's just a matter of like expanding up here before somebody else does. I wonder if I don't want to like get another city up over here rather than attach to Harappa, you know? But it is a void, basically, as far as resources are concerned. I mean, we've got... No, even that's outside. Let's see if there's anything of value up over there, or if we'd rather claim this little pass over here. You know what? That might be better. Yeah, let's move... Oh, of course, I've overdone it. 3 turns to go up this way. 3 turns to go up this way. All right, let's go up this way then, because I might want to establish myself further up over here somewhere. And seal off this mountain pass. Yeah, we could try that, sure. But anyway, sorry, back to what I was, again, rambling about. There is, it seems quite a few people are having issue with that kind of, the idea of that kind of transition from one culture to another that never interacted in history. And I find that interesting. Again, it makes sense, because it's a hard kind of thing to break away from. You know, all the history we've learned for years, especially if you like chasing after, history, if you have an interest in it, it's taught us certain things, and we're so used to those things that it feels weird to break away from it. Let's deploy up over here. I'm worried they're going to capture our flag, but I don't want to stand on the river, because then they'll come up, get rid of our high ground advantage, and then also take advantage of the fact that we're crossing the river, and that's a huge penalty. So hopefully we can finish them off before they capture our flag. Yikes. That was a little concerning. We'll end the deployment over here. Yeah, sure. Anyway, yeah, so I understand that totally. But for me, very early on, I think, I sort of looked at it the same way as Alexander the Great launching, nukes in civilization, or Gandhi meeting Montezuma. Like all these things that never happened. And never could happen, Alexander the Great launching nukes, all these things that never happened and never could happen in a game of Civilization, and that's always, perfectly cool. And I think part of the reason for that is because many of us, at least, have been playing Civilization for so long, since we were, so young, that it's become a normal type of rewriting history. It's a familiar type of rewriting history, and so we don't give it a second thought, right? But to me, again, that's what makes humankind's choice so interesting, this culture thing, because the typical, nice, victory's ours. The typical rewriting history that we see in video games is conquest and subjugation. Crusader Kings plays it a little differently, but that's the typical sort of notes that you hit when we're talking about rewriting history in video games. It's typically about conquest. I did not mean to do this. I'm going to retreat. My side is weaker. Let's go ahead and pull back from this one. I got my one militarist, defeated enemy unit over here. I don't need to lose this unit. I would like to pick that curiosity up. I don't think we'll be able to. I think we're going to be forced away from it, and they might actually pick it up first. But yeah, so where was I? Sorry, I've been on this for some time now, haven't I? These guys are camping around this spot. I don't like that. I might need to move on from it. It looks like we found another people down over here as well. Let's loop back down south and just kind of familiarize ourselves with our neighborhood before we go gallivanting into like Europe and stuff, right? But yeah, so rewriting history, rewriting that kind of history, like again, the history of conquest and all that kind of stuff is something we're used to, whereas humankind asks us to rewrite cultural histories. That's what sets humankind's rewriting history apart, because you're rewriting a different aspect of history. And I quite like that. I enjoy that. I think it's really cool. But clearly a lot of folks out there don't feel that way. And again, I'm not saying one side is right or one side is wrong. I just wanted to kind of get my my thoughts in there on that topic because it's actually surprised me, I should say, how many folks are not on board with that aspect of the game, or having a hard time getting on board with that aspect of the game. I find it really interesting because for me it was an instant. It was just like, oh, this is great. But again, for me, it's a topic that I find really fascinating. How else could the world cultures have developed? What cultural influences can do to a people? I find this kind of stuff really, really cool. Melting pot versus mosaic cultures and things like that. I find this stuff really cool. So yeah, I'm curious to really understand how other people feel and why. Because like I said, my opinion is one man's opinion. Get to have multiple people's opinions to just kind of get an idea of how people feel out there. So yeah, let me know down below. I maybe rambled on about that for a little too long, but these are still the early days of Humankind being released. I know it's a month out, but I just want to have these conversations when they're kind of like relevant and stuff, so that as Humankind moves forward in development and with DLC and all that kind of stuff, I want to be equipped with others' opinions as well as my own to let that inflect upon what I say in my videos and things like that. Let's go ahead and actually pick this up. I'm surprised I didn't scoop it up. I have seen the AI scoop these things up in the past, but I guess they were just not interested in these carcasses. Have it your way then. Down over here. Oh, god damn it. Well, if they do decide to attack us, we have the upper hand over here. I really hope they don't establish themselves first. Is there a good spot for an outpost over here? There's a surprising amount of food available up over here. This would be a decent spot, actually, to maybe establish another city. Kind of expand it and get our walls to hold these mountain passes. I think that'd be pretty cool. So Harappa down over here will have, 1, 2, 3 attached territories, and we have another city up over here. Not looking for like a sweet spot as far as numbers are concerned. Just feel like it would be a nice approach. The growing faithful. The Empire's religion grows, more and more followers coming into the faith every day. Some practice their beliefs through ceremonies led by priests, while others guide their own worship. It is time to give blessing to one of these means. So religious rites is an interesting decision as far as a civics call is concerned. I think communal rites is the way to go. Again, I'm playing in my head the idea of Vedism, and at least my exposure to Hinduism is the best I can kind of do, but they are very, unless I'm mistaken, somebody please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, go for it. But they're very communal. You get like your Diwalis, your Holies. You get people congregating at I believe the term is Mela. Correct me if I'm wrong. Really digging into my past lives, eh? But yeah, there's a very communal aspect to it. And so I think we'll go with communal rights. However, we will not be doing that right now because that costs 25 influence, and I have other things I would like to spend that influence on first. I think... Oh, geez. Which one do I go for? Either Thabit or Sheraton over here. Like the hotel. Either one of these has to be attached. Oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and get this copper. Go ahead and get this copper. Because that'll be instant. Right now we have access to copper, and this construction has actually maybe been a bit of a waste as a result of that. But I want to do that before I attach. I find it's always a good idea to take advantage of any exploitations that you can before you attach, because then it happens at a cost of influence, but it happens instantaneously. So at least there's that. I'm going to go ahead and actually get this pottery workshop finally built up, and then that way we'll gain a bit more influence a bit faster. Next turn we will be able to attach Thabit, and then in 4 turns, less than 3 turns. It'll have to be 4 turns, actually. We'll be able to attach Sheraton as well. Though, of course, we might spend a little bit of influence trying to claim a territory up over here. Yeah, I think that was the right call. Unfortunately, we'll have to, yes, queue up this thing at one point. But that's way down the line. That might be iron. It could be literally anything. It could be saltpeter for all we know. So, we'll see when the time comes. One of the builder stars has been earned. Excellent.
Egyptians. It's a fair bet that you'll be embarrassed if you compare cities with them.
Well, hey now. Hey now. Might not be entirely inaccurate, but hey now. Egyptians up over here. So the Egyptians are the folks down over here, it seems. Fair enough. Go ahead and retreat. Both sides are evenly matched. Oh, I see. They're coming towards us. Now again, do I play in a similar way where I kind of come up over here? They'll try to capture our flag. We'll have the high ground advantage, and they'll be crossing the river. They might try to come all the way up to over here, which could be problematic. But you know what? Sure, both sides are evenly matched. Let's go for it. We can't continuously be pushed around, constantly on the back foot, constantly retreating, right? We can't keep doing that. Yeah, let's try it. I might need to pull these guys back and actually heal them up. Because again, the AI will be aggressive in this difficulty. They will push in this difficulty. Go ahead and defend. Stay put. Oh, damn it. Not ideal. They're actually going to win this fight. Oh man, I could risk it. I could risk staying put and just hoping that the dice rolls with the +1 from defending work in my favor. Let's try it. What's life without risks, right? Let's do it. Come on, baby. Come on. Nice! Yes! All right. I was not expecting that. I was expecting a draw at best, but I will take that victory. I will take that victory all the way back to Harappa, honestly. Like, let's pull back. Let's pick this up en route. That's worked out wonderfully. This, not so much. Oh my god, we're so jam-packed over here. This is a very densely... Okay, they're a little bit further. Maybe the Mycenians are a little bit further than I initially assessed. But hey, you guys...
Help me make this world a better place for all our peoples.
You say that right after attacking me? But hey, we won, so all good. All good. We'll see. We'll let them offer the trade luxuries option, and I would really love to get like a non-aggression pact with the Hittites or something.
I'm listening.
I wonder if I should put it out there. Hesitant. We could try opening our borders and seeing if that converts into a non-aggression pact. Their war support being higher than ours is, I think, making them not like us all that much. I will have a hard time catching up, though. There's not much we can do. They are militarists, so they are... Their equilibrium state is at 80, as opposed to ours, which is at 50. Yeah, why don't we push forward open borders? No. Ah. Makes me nervous. Well, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Maybe. What's going on over here? The darkest depths. Miners, and prospective miners, and their kin from Harappa are afraid. Ancient traditions are strong, and many believe the mythical beasts of the old legends are very real. Now rumors are rife that it was no ordinary bear that attacked regiment. I wish they fixed that. But a monstrous creature whose den is the city's nearby mine. Many are likely to down tools without action. How should we respond to the rumors? This is one event chain, I guess, that I'm not the biggest fan of, because it seems to trigger randomly. While most trigger in response to something that actually happens while you're playing, this one seems to be a little random at least. Though we have had run-ins with bears in this playthrough already, it wasn't recent enough for this to be triggered, if you consider the time period. Anyway, we can dismiss them. Miners will not shy from their duties, and they will understand their follies. Forced labor gives us extra industry, but reduced stability for 10 turns. That's a huge hit. Especially if we're about to be attaching more regions, right? Investigate. To satisfy the miners, we'll fund an expedition to thoroughly explore every corner of the mine. Who knows what we'll find? Okay. People will be celebrating, improving stability. Oh, that actually is not a bad idea. Chance of unexpected consequences, though. We'll see. Maybe we lose a pop or something if someone gets hurt in a cave-in or something like that. Or we can embrace. We'll play along and send in a mighty warrior who'll slay a sham chimera monster. What could go wrong? Gives us patriotic. I feel like we should go with investigate. We are an intelligent people. Though yes, we have a strong sense of tradition and all that kind of stuff. We are we're also a curious people, an investigative people, I think. So let's go ahead and investigate. I love these event chains. They're interesting. They're really interesting. They add a little bit of variety, and as we know, variety is the spice of life. I guess I should put this outpost down over here. I don't think, if we put this outpost down over here, I don't think people can attack up this way, unless they're ranged, right? People can't attack up this way. Same goes for here. And they'd have to go all the way around and up this way if they want to engage, okay? Now, we'll be on the low ground, but of course, if we expand in this general direction, this is going to be a city, is the plan, right? If we expand in this general direction, then our walls will take up these mountains. You know what? I quite like this. And as I establish this outpost, or as I try to... Oh, no, don't you dare do it. I stand to potentially lose this region if I don't pull the trigger on a less efficient spot over here, just because of the river. I don't think I have a better... Yeah, these guys are all the way back over here. I should have come the other way. But hey, story of my life, right? Go ahead and establish this over here. We can always move it later if we have to. It costs a little bit, but well, let's at least claim this region. No, we're just talking about spice. We're just talking about spice. Now, one thing that I've been thinking about lately as well is actually renaming cities. How do we feel about that? Do we want to keep the name of the city as it was established, or do we want to rename cities moving forward? The main reason that came to mind was because I was wondering if we rename Harappa into Kolkata, or if we leave it as Harappa all the way through. If we down the line rename it, Pataliputra, maybe when we become Mauryan, because it's close. It's not exactly at the right spot of either of those cities, I don't think, but they're the major kind of cities in the region, I think. So we could definitely do that. I'd just love to hear your thoughts on that. Now we could get the granary in, the granary, as I sometimes like to say. A place for storing grans. Helps with food, helps with growth. Growth is not bad. 7 turns, though. That's a long time. Let's go ahead and get the palisades. Harappa was known to have tremendous walls. Why don't we go ahead and get that done? Why don't we also go ahead and get this tea claimed, actually, maybe first. Let's go with the palisades first. Because if we do get... attacked, I want to make sure that we are at least somewhat able to defend ourselves. 7 turns, that's fine. That's fine. The attachment will have to wait until next turn. Cool. I think I might have had enough influence earlier, but it slipped my mind at the time. As these things tend to. 5 turns, 5 turns. We might just leave it there and try and expand accordingly to make up for our lost time, if you will, as far as establishing our settlement up over here is concerned. And yeah, you can see how like this is a very interesting region. I really like this map quite a bit. Quite a bit. We can put ourselves down over here. They're gonna try and ransack that, aren't they? If they try to ransack it, we'll of course defend ourselves and push them back. There's no point going down here. Why am I going down here? I need to explore more of this. My apologies, folks. I definitely am feeling the pressure. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm definitely feeling the pressure of being so surrounded by so much potential aggression. It's making me a little nervous. A little nervous. Let's go ahead and attach, I think, Thabit over here. We've got some independent people showing up now as well. Fair enough. Yeah, let's go ahead and attach you. Go for it. And it hurts our stability a little bit, but we'll counteract that soon enough. And once we are done the Palisades, we might, rather than chase after the tea, because we already have some tea, we might chase after another canal network instead, to make sure we have one over here before we enter the next era, which feels like it'll be still a while from now. Maybe I should pick up the pace a little bit. Though again, without access to the militarist option, it becomes a little bit harder. Go ahead and separate you, because you don't have trouble going through difficult terrain, so let's pull you up that way. Can you keep going? Yes, you can. Just worried they're going to attack, you know? Ooh, a little sanctuary there. Okay, good bit of money to be had, maybe. And I guess we'll have to send you up this way as well, right? Because there's no passing through here. I will want to defend this outpost, though, as we're forming it. Keep that in mind. Let's use this river to get us as far down as possible, as quickly as possible. Nice. Working out. That's good. Take whatever boosts I can get. About to unlock our next tech. Irrigation researched. Excellent. So I could build flood irrigation, giving us +2 food on river. And God knows we should be able to take advantage of that, looking at the just sheer number of rivers that surround us over here. And of course, we have the public fountain as well for that stability boost too. So that should work out nicely for us. Let's go ahead and can we ransack the sanctuary? No. Hey. What? Oh, wow. I can't even go. Oh, I guess they're blocking our access down that way. This is very interesting terrain. I quite like it. Oh, we should be able to use the river, or is it, no, that's too much of a drop, I think. Hopefully we'll force them back and then we can get to that sanctuary. I don't know. Learning the lay of the land over here. I'm enjoying it. Let's go ahead and stay put for just a little bit. Hold these guys back, basically, and make sure nobody touches our outpost up over here. Domestication in 2 turns. I think that would make sense. Riding in 9, though, again, there's fame to be earned there, right? There's fame to be earned there. Let's go ahead and go with riding. Fun fact, Harappan, or whatever the language is called, is one of the, if not the only, it's one of the writings from this era of which we have like physical remnants, but haven't been able to decipher. If memory serves me right, it is one of the languages that we have a reference like item, but what we don't have is like a Rosetta Stone equivalent. We don't have something to actually translate it or transliterate it or whatever you want to say. Well, whichever / both. What am I doing? Why am I going back in here? No, I need to go back to Harappa. These guys need to heal. What am I doing? We'll pull back. I also saw the curiosity over here, so we'll pick that up on our way back. Go through some Hittite land, potentially, right? Potentially. And we are able to attach again. Do we want to go ahead and do that? No, 230. Okay. Of course, the next step is more expensive. We'll hold off on that. Palisades are about to come through. And then we'll, yes, get the canal set up. +8. Is that really the best spot? I guess so. Sure, let's do it. Kind of a shame. Because again, it counts as a river tile. So I don't know if it stacks. We'll see. We'll see. If I'll trust the game on that suggestion there. We look fine over here. We are blocking these guys' access. Why don't we go ahead and move up to here, just so that when the time comes, we are able to move further along. Return there. I'm looking at all these opportunities to gain stars disappear before my eyes, like militarist stars potentially, you know. Pushing up. These guys might get a little aggressive at this point, and we're going to stay put. They're not ransacking us or anything, so they're in the clear for now. I believe these guys are looping back. Yeah. And we've actually been forced back. The Hittites have established another city up over here. Okay, they're growing up in this direction, which is good. That means this is still a... oh, this is just a trade route, I guess? This isn't actually a claimed... No, this is a claimed piece of territory. Alright, what do we have here? The Darkest Depths, Part 2. Unsurprisingly, no rabid monster was discovered, but something even more astonishing was found. In the darkest depths, the expedition came across a gallery of rock art, dozens of ancient paintings depicting animals both familiar and strange. The monstrous bear is swiftly forgotten, the frescoes catching the attention of all. Who created them? Is this a sacred place? How you interpret this artwork will influence your people's conception of themselves. Very interesting. Now, we only have one option. Shouldn't we have more? Shouldn't we have more? But this is cool. I've actually never seen this. In all my many countless hours of playing this game so far, I have not seen this option. Self-made. As we've always believed, our blood ancestors drew these paintings long ago, proving our birthright. Oh, I guess this must line up to our civics, the decision we made last session, and that's why we have it. Celebrating on Harappa gives us plus 10 stability for 10 turns. That's huge, and that plus 10 fame. I will not complain. And a bit of a push towards progress as well. Sure. Self-made we are. Yeah, I've not seen that before. What is this? A melody for every occasion. In the teeming, iconic city of Harappa, musicians are a celebrated part of the local culture with a long history in holy rites. They bring nobility to religious rituals, jollity to palace celebrations, smiles to the sick and ailing, courage to marching armies, and distraction to the gods. Alas, they are still too small in number, especially the good ones. And now word of their renown has reached across the empire. Lords, priests, commanders, among others, are grousing that their city deserves such artists too. How will you satisfy them? All right. We could either muster them so street musicians riddle Harappa. They could help commerce elsewhere, even if they distract learning, giving us parsimonious, adding to money, but taking away from science. I don't know how I feel about that. Or build. Every city will be required to build an institution of music where we can teach new performers. Oh, I kind of like that, actually. Not just because I don't like the reduction in science. I can't think of historically what would be more fitting. I'm going to go with build over here. Cost us a bit of money, but we have a fair bit banked up. And I like the idea of, because, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Harappans historically had separate, like, very separate, like, cities. You know, Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, they were, you know, very, very separate and localized, I guess. So I think build makes sense because such disparate and distant cities are all getting good treatment as a part of our culture. So each city is doing it themselves because, again, we're the culture, not the city, right? So I think build makes sense in that way. I don't know. If we were the city, I'd say muster makes sense, but because we're the culture, I think build makes sense. I'm curious. Every time I make one of these decisions, I'm always curious to see what people would do differently. You know, how others feel about a call like that and the justifications and all that kind of stuff. Stability is looking okay. It's not perfect. Again, going above that threshold gives us a higher chance of positive events. Going below this threshold gives us a higher chance of negative events. But in the middle, you're kind of you're fine. You're okay. You're all right. We're going to have a little boost to population next turn, it seems. I think getting the +2 food on river is not a bad idea. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the flood irrigation. Well, let's get the canal done first, the canal network, and we'll queue up flood irrigation. I mean, I'm just holding off on the tea over here, aren't I? And by the way, sorry, my apologies. I misspoke last session. We are getting the +2% food right now. The +5% food is after we have 2 deposits. But we need to also have either patronage and a specific building built on top of the tea, or we need to get the hanging gardens of Babylon on here. Ooh, do I chase that or do I do some of these attachments? These guys haven't made a move yet. That's not to say they won't make a move at all, but it'll take them some time to get up here, right? They'll have to go through a bunch of rivers. We'll see them coming, I think. So we should be okay not attaching this immediately. We should be okay. Up over here, yeah, 1 turn we're waiting. There we go, established. You guys are pulling up that way, okay, fair enough. I really do wonder if there's anything of value, you know, like tucked away in a corner up over here or something. Keep pushing up that way. And let's go ahead and push these guys up this way. I could, again, for 15, we can move it down here. There are some decent options. You know what? I kind of like where we are. I kind of like where we are. Let's stay put. It might not be the best spot, but that's fine. That's fine. Over here, we're still coming through. Gotta go through that river. Let's pick this up. Loop back and heal up, and we're sending some new explorers out there now as well, right? Let's go ahead and stay put over here. I feel like being so close to them is actually doing ourselves a disservice because they're not able to move quickly because we're hot on their tails, right? We kind of slow down their movement. And to what end? To what end, right? How are we helping ourselves? Ooh. Is that an all-out war, or is that just a little border skirmish? I also really like the idea of border skirmishes in this game. I feel like that's a really neat idea. Very representative as well. Lots of cool ideas in this game. Lots of cool ideas. Let's go ahead and stay put for one turn. Let these guys move a little bit further away from us. And let's go ahead and get ourselves... Oh, I can't get onto that river right away. All right, fair enough. These guys... Oh, no, they do have another establishment up over there. Fair enough. Go ahead and scoop this up. Thank you very much. A little bit of science. Beautiful. Beautiful. And yeah, we are pulling these guys back to heal so these guys can go further up, right? That's our turn. Excellent. Things are looking good. Things are looking good. More fighting. Oh, this is interesting. Babylon, I think, really wants to push up over here and take Mulephane for themselves. This I don't like. Oh, come on. Don't make me have to come back here and defend myself. That's what it's going to be, isn't it? That's what it's going to be. I could evolve this outpost to a city right now, force these guys out of here. You know, they'd have to declare a full-fledged war. They couldn't just ransack it. I think we should do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Is this a good... This isn't even that great of a spot, is it? I don't think we have any resources available within this city's limits, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because that means that we don't have to worry about using up our building queue to build resources, but I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing either. Go ahead and evolve this outpost. There we go. And there's Mohenjo-Daro. Cool. Now, a little unfortunate, because, you know, we can't expand in every which direction, but maybe eventually we'll take this, we'll ransack Hattusa and replace it. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. I like the spot for a city, so it is what it is. Let's go ahead and establish what? Maker's quarters right off the bat. Accelerate the rate at which we actually produce literally anything. God, this might have been a bad spot. Once we get masonry, though, it should be easy enough to improve. We have one mountain over here, right next to us as well. All right, fair enough. Do I need to pull you back? Definitely pull you up. Well, they can't go up this way. Oh, I do love this territory. They can't go up this way, and I don't think they're going to declare, again, a full-fledged war for this. That would surprise me. That would very much surprise me. I could claim this territory. I do have enough influence. I could claim this territory. Get this... that was a mistake. Get this lead for myself. I say that was a mistake, but that actually worked out fine. That's probably where I would have ended up anyway. We can actually... It's not, because I wouldn't want to be right next to this. Anyway, that was a misclick. Not the end of the world. We'll overcome all these misclicks and mistakes. We'll be fine. Been a long day. A melody for every occasion, part 2. Creating an institution dedicated to music in every city was an excellent idea. Performers produce refined, delicate compositions, and many pay for the privilege to hear them play. Music is a serious, artful practice, carried out by trained adepts. The strict classical musical culture is well established. Okay, you know what? That kind of works. Well, that kind of works. I mean, I guess every part of the world has its strict classical musical culture, and so too does South Asia, and so we're getting that. Euphony. Music is a sacred art, only to be performed by those with the requisite learning. Oh, okay, that might be a little bit over the top. That might be a little bit more than I'd expected, but fair enough, fair enough. Hopefully, eventually we open that up and we don't gatekeep music that hard down the line. I will say, with regards to that misclick, one of the most challenging things for me, maybe this is just me.
Leap forward. From mundane tallies of crops to recording the wisdom of sages, humankind now wields the most powerful tool of all.
Love it. Writing researched. And that should give us a little bit of a...
Now, things that one generation learned can be passed to the next, via something more reliable than campfire stories.
Indeed. Makes me think about all those languages that never had a written form. Berber, as an example, has, at least when I was living in Morocco, this was something we talked about quite a bit, was how there was a loss of cultural history because a lot of it was oral as opposed to written down, and that was a huge topic of conversation. I don't know if things have changed between then and now. That was a long time ago, but it is interesting to have that touched on. What I was saying just moments ago was that playing so many games back to back to back, games that you see on the channel already, as well as games that I am currently preparing coverage for that are similar but different, in the sense that I might be playing like 3-4x games at a time, but their control schemes are slightly different, like left click to cancel versus right click to cancel versus whatever. It can get a little unfortunate at times with things like what you just saw. With that said, though, I don't think I'm too displeased about our placement here. Yeah, look at that. We got some copper in here as well. Pure serendipity. Maybe expanding a little bit further north than traditionally expected. But hey, this could justify further our Mongol stage, right? Ooh. Oh, okay. I thought this already belonged to the Babylonian. They were chopping wood in Babylonian territory. I was like, wait, well, hold on a second. Getting the wheel is not a bad idea, moving around a little bit quicker, but why don't we go ahead and get domestication finally? It would make sense. It would get us, again, one step closer to the... Well, actually, it would get us the scientist star. So yes, let's go ahead with domestication, one turn, and then we'll go ahead and grab the wheel, I think. Masonry is also probably not a terrible idea. We'd have to build the stoneworks to get those benefits, obviously, but I think wheel first, just so we're moving around a little bit faster. Should war finally come, we want to be able to move around a bit more quickly, I think, right? That's our turn here. Looking good. There's that scientist star. Excellent. There's that era star. Cool. Okay. Let's go ahead and... Yeah, let's go with the wheel. Again, still tempted by masonry. Harbor as well, not a bad idea, because we do still have a territory over here where we would be building the harbor before attaching. Sure. Fishing, and then we'll do the wheel afterwards. Oh, how I flip-flop sometimes. Over at Harappa, a game of prophecy. With the empire thriving, a new game hailing from a foreign land beguiles the population. Everywhere you go, the distinctive game board and pieces catching your eye. Insisting on a public demonstration, you play the game under instruction in your palace court, but the event has a sting in the tail. The game is reckoned to be a form of divination as well as entertainment. Gasps could be heard as the game's prophecy became clear. You are fated to lose everything. What will you do? Okay, so we could silence. If this prophecy spread, the results could be devastating. Every witness should be paid off. We could overlook, let the people gossip, the prophecy will soon be proved false, or we should heed it. We must listen to the divination and prepare for the worst, giving us superstitious on Harappa. Now, we already discussed this last session. This game is a foreign game. It would not have been included as a way of divination in the Vedas. And so we'll obviously be ignoring it in one way or another. The question is, do we overlook it or do we silence these concerning voices? I think we should use our coffers to prevent any trouble. Becoming a bit more authoritarian as we do so. Yes, silence these voices. They're not being murdered, they're being paid off. I know saying silence these voices sounds like murder, but no, they're just being paid off. So, I'm sure they're okay. I'm sure they don't mind. Let's finally pull back and try and heal these guys, right? Now, this is also another region that might be worth claiming. There's horses. There's something unknown. Oh, this is a different region. Might not be a bad one to claim, though. Ooh. Oh, okay. Nice. Decent spot over here. We'll be attaching this to Mohenjo-Daro. And it only costs 60 influence to actually found it. Maybe not a bad idea. This time I remembered right-click to cancel. Okay, we can't go this way, unfortunately. We've been blocked off. So that's unfortunate. But let's bring these troops back. Bring these troops back. We'll let these guys heal up, and then we'll move these guys back out again. But yeah, we will be claiming this territory, I think, before the Hittites are able to. They've expanded in this general direction, which is actually historically maybe kind of accurate-ish. If this is the Middle East, oh, you know what? In that case, the Hittite direction of expansion is actually historically accurate, and that's impressive. I quite like that. I don't think that was built into the map, but it's pretty cool. Go ahead and end the turn there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It looks like our faith has reached its next level. Harappan polytheism. How do we want to advance it? Reject luxury, be virtuous as water, shelter the true oracles, smite unbelievers, hunt the infidels, seek wisdom, abstain from intoxicants, or respect the sea's bounties. I don't know. Okay, none of these scream to me as particularly, again, Vedic or Hindu. Again, my knowledge here is not that deep, so please feel free to correct me. Even if we make a decision, I'd love to know what I should have done, if you know better. But I feel like seek wisdom is probably the way to go because, I think because you're looking to your elders or to the, down the line, I guess, like your pundit, hard word to pronounce. Pundits, your gurus, your all your learned, wise men to inform you on how to live life, I guess, and things like that, and what to do, all that kind of stuff. And so you're seeking wisdom. Now, while the implication here might be that use the riches of the earth to enlighten the mind. I feel like that line is what's drawing me most to seek wisdom, because abstain from intoxicants is highly inaccurate. In fact, if you're not familiar with bhang, for example, look it up, B-H-A-N-G. So abstain from intoxicants, very much incorrect. Respect the sea's bounties, I guess, kind of. You're surrounded by waters, right? The Harappans, I mean, yeah, they were not surrounded by the seas, but by rivers. Reject luxury, that's maybe looking at Buddhism way far down the line. Be virtuous as water, I don't know. Shelter the true oracles, again, I don't know. Smite unbelievers and hunt the infidels, I don't think are very on point. So we'll go with seek wisdom. I feel like that's the most fitting, especially when you consider all the borrowed words we have from this part of the world that have to do with, wise people. For example, guru, right? Pundit, like they're all, I think, an indication of seeking wisdom. Sure. So what is that? +5 science on strategic resource deposit. Cool, we've got some copper. That'll help, and hopefully some of these question marks get unlocked soon. Hopefully they turn out to be iron, and we can take advantage of them sooner rather than later as well. So yes, let's choose seek wisdom. I feel like so far we've stayed pretty on the ball with regards to representing this part of the world's history. I mean, again, apart from the early aggression, supposedly being inaccurate, I think we've done pretty well. I'm liking this challenge. Having to think through every decision through a historical lens is a very interesting challenge, because not only it's role playing, right, and it's tapping into historical knowledge that at least I think I have. Let's go ahead and establish this outpost over here. So I'm just considering it. We'll get horses. There's another strategic resource over here. Again, those will help our faith as well, and they will give us access to the north over here too. Yeah, let's establish you. And we might actually attach Mesa. Kind of funny. Is it on a Mesa? No, it's not. We could actually attach that to Mohenjo-Daro as soon as it's done to really help and speed up the growth of Mohenjo-Daro. It'll take 9 turns to build this, though. Are there any trees to chop down in the area? Probably not worth it. It'll take some time to build, though. And these guys are now healing over here as opposed to needing to go all the way back to like city territory. They heal in claimed territory as well. Go ahead and oh no, this is trouble. These guys will almost certainly attack us. So these guys will likely have to come up over here and respond. Kind of wish I had those roads. Okay, well, we could try and pull back. Can't go up this way. They might try and burn Marfik down. Why don't we go ahead and ransack this sanctuary? Hopefully draw them down over here rather than up over there, buying us some time. And then we'd be able to respond sooner rather than later, ideally. Are we able to recruit any units over here, or how long will it take? Quite a bit of time. Quite a bit of time, actually. I could rush the Maker's Quarters. I could also... I'm fine down over here. Let's go ahead and rush these Maker's Quarters. They cost 140. We have plenty of money. Oh, that's like nothing. That was like nothing. 13 turns for some archers. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What about the canal network? Of course, the best spot for it is right here. We could wait a little bit longer. Oh, this is not so bad. +9 as opposed to +10. That's not so bad. Extends the river out a little bit. I think they'll act as connected. Makes me also think about the step wells a little bit. getting ahead of myself, but that's what it makes me think of. Because of the mountainous terrain. What about this? We could put this down over here. +7, +5, +4. We're gonna get a huge food boost soon, right? This is in 9 turns. Not soon. That's not soon at all. Yeah, this might have been a bad spot to build in. Just a little bit. Too late now. Let's go ahead and establish another maker's quarters down over here. Hurting our food a little bit. +4. Alright, fine. Let's go up over there then. I'm a little worried about Mohenjo-Daro. I do this every playthrough. Gotta have at least one really badly positioned settlement. At least one. We're okay though, we're okay. Looks like we're gonna gain a couple of stars in quick succession when they come. And it looks like the Assyrians are speaking to us as well. I wouldn't mind picking up these curiosities down over here. I just don't have anybody in the area, unfortunately. One of the SE stars has been earned. Excellent. Oh ho ho, these guys are waltzing right through, aren't they?
Why are you here?
Oh, they're expansionists, right? Yeah, that's why they can walk right through. Claimed a territory on our border and stole Mount Wow. Right. Of course. That was the benefit of establishing an outpost over here. Mount Everest. The +3 industry. It's not the biggest of deals, but my people will certainly take offense to it. I'm not a fan of that move there. I don't think I could demand for it back. The reason why it says they stole it is because we discovered it first. These two happened at the same time because they claimed this territory up over here. Oh, this is trouble. This is trouble. This is trouble. Go ahead and bring these guys back up over here in 3 turns approximately, so we can maybe hold the line over. Oh, god damn it! Of course, there's a bear over here. Let's fight it back. I think we can auto-resolve this. We should be fine. Yeah, a clean victory, and we should be healing up as we kind of go through this this journey. Okay, you guys stay put for a little bit longer here. Very slow to heal. At least we've managed to get this gold over here. Let's see if we can draw these guys out. Really using these runners to, well, run, I guess. Hopefully. Oh man, this is a little nerve-wracking. And again, because they're expansionists, they can trespass without without issue. They don't have to be considerate in that way. Fishing researched, excellent. There's that battle that I was expecting. The wheel is up next. In 3 turns we'll be done. Okay, good stuff. Organized warfare we'll need maybe sooner rather than later. Get those the option to get reinforcements, because with this expansion I've become a little nervous. These guys are, I mean, they're going in the direction we expected them to, just a little bit faster than I expected them to, I guess. Go ahead and retreat from this battle. Pull back, excellent. Oh, that worked out perfectly. I'll take it. Is ransacking Aldanab here a fitting thing to do? They stole Mount Everest from us. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. What's going on over here? The first calendar. The invention of the calendar heralded a glorious day in the Empire's history. Now, with 2 major cities and numerous farming affairs needing to be harmonized across the land, it is time to standardize this calendar. Traders must have an easy means of synchronizing their activities. By what means do you wish to track the days? So we should go with, okay, so lunar is what makes most sense. There are a variety of a variety of lunar systems in the subcontinent, if memory serves me right. The Indian calendar itself, I can't remember. I don't think it's purely lunar. I believe it's what's called lunisolar, right? Which, again, correct me if I'm wrong, is a blended kind of a calendar. However, I think we'll go with lunar here because when I think about the most commonly known sort of festivities, they are lunar. I'm pretty sure. It's a hard choice because I'm pretty sure it's lunisolar, and I don't know if knowing this term as separate from lunar is a misgiving. I don't know if lunisolar and lunar are the same thing, but I would imagine not. The thing is, though, that again, there's a variety of calendars in the subcontinent, and they're all, if I'm not mistaken, in that kind of a similar vein. So yeah, fine, let's go with lunar. The waxing and waning of the moon is something familiar and comforting to the people. That gives us, again, pushes us towards a sense of tradition. And yeah, lunar it shall be. So on that note, actually, you know how every year we celebrate Chinese New Year, and it started to be called the Lunar New Year. It's actually, calling it the Lunar New Year is maybe a bit of a misnomer, because a lot of Lunar New Years happen at different times of the year across cultures. So different cultures, different lunar cultures have their Lunar New Year in different times of the, of our calendar. So there's not like one Lunar New Year. There are different Lunar New Years. There's like the Chinese Lunar New Year. There's like the Bengali Lunar New Year. I believe in India there's like 3 or 4 different Lunar New Years. There is Southeast Asia has its own, like almost every Southeast Asian culture has its own Lunar New Year as well, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me again if I'm wrong. But yeah, just a fun lunar fact there. Getting hopefully I'm not driving any of y'all loony with all my tangents and sidebars. But again, I'm playing a historical game. It's hard for me not to get dug into some of this stuff. Very close to getting out of this era, actually. Oh, but we might not be first. I'll be bummed out if we don't get our first pick. How far are we? 1 turn, 2 turns, like 3 turns away from entering the next era. What can I do to hurry us along? A couple of attachments. Literally a couple of attached territories. 230 influence needed down over here. These territories we're still waiting to see built. I mean, these guys are ransacking over here. It'll take them 4 turns, so we should be able to push in and push them back. 6 turns over here. Yeah, we're going to get the Merchant Star before that. We could pull the Greener Pastures, maybe for like Mohenjo-Daro or something, and pull in some population. +2, that's not really worth it. +4 over here, maybe. It is a grievance, though, so we might upset some people. Help our population. It's too bad we're already at that agrarian star at this point, so it's not really worth anything. It also costs us some influence, which is what we need for some of our other stars. What else do we have here? The Builder Star. Need to build 4 things. That'll take some time or some money. We have neither of those. Ooh. I really hope nobody takes the Morians from us. If they do, we'll maybe go with the Achaemenid Persians to again touch on that Persian, Mongol, Mughal influence. But Morians are definitely my first pick, the most fitting of picks for this playthrough. Hopefully we'll get it, but folks, we're not going to find out until next time. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you did, let me know down below. Leave a like, leave a comment. If you have any feedback, again, if you have any opinions about my ramblings, if you want to adjust your opinion from last time, your encouragement from last time, feel free to do so. It is definitely very helpful for me to know how people feel about my approach to things, because I always take feedback, I always appreciate feedback, and I always use it to influence my approach to content. I want to make sure everyone's having a good time when they're watching. I want to make sure you're entertained and maybe at least a little informed. And again, as a bit of a history nerd and a big fan of like anthropology and sociology and stuff, that kind of stuff is just like, I could talk about this stuff for hours. Which I kind of felt like I've done today. Folks, again, I hope you've enjoyed this session. If you have, please don't hesitate to let me know. Leave that like, leave that comment. It does make a very big difference in just letting me know you want to see Humankind on the channel. You want to see more Humankind on the channel. As always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.